iOS 15 and iPadOS 15 will be here somewhere, sometime in the fall, but Apple has already released their iOS 15 and iPadOS 15 betas into the wild. So if you don't already have it on your device, I'm going to show you some of my favorite and what I think are some of the most important features and upgrades in iOS and iPadOS 15. There are definitely some substantial things to talk about for iPad and iPhone owners. Let's get into it. So if any of the videos on this channel have helped you, go ahead and hit us with a thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and click that notification bell so you'll be notified when we upload the latest content and when we kick off our weekly giveaways, because you definitely want to get in on those. We're giving away some great things every week here on the channel. One of the things that's going to be front and center for users when they update to iPadOS 15 or iOS 15 is going to be notifications. So let's take a look at that first. I have right here on the left my iPhone 10 that's running iOS 14.4, and then I have the iPhone 12 Pro Max running iOS 15 beta. So let's look at those notifications. So one of the things you'll notice on the iOS 15 is that notifications have large icons right next to them instead of smaller icons with more text that's prominent. So you're going to get larger icons right to your notification center. This also will apply to anybody who's calling you. You'll see their picture, missed calls, text messages. If they have a photo associated with their account, you'll see that nice and large right here with the icon next to the text, the name, information. Another cool feature, because there's some notifications that I really don't need to get that often, but I still want to see their information. So we're going to talk about, and I'm going to show you notification summaries, but we're going to do that with iPadOS. It works the same in both devices, so we'll get to that in a little bit. An expanded feature that I think people are really going to enjoy is on some devices, some operating systems, you can have separate profiles for different times of the day. Say a work profile, a home profile, a I'm chilling self-care profile. Well, iOS 15 takes and expands on the do not disturb function with something called Focus. What Focus lets you do is take and actually have different versions of do not disturb for whatever you need for the day, allowing you to focus on specifically what you need to focus on for that time of day, for that setting. So let's say you want to have a home focus mode that shuts out all email from work, that shuts out, let's say, Slack is my favorite communications tool, so shuts out Slack messages from coworkers or any businesses you may have. Maybe you've got side hustles. It'll shut all that out if you choose a home profile. Sleep profile, you can choose to shut out, everything except messaging coming in from family, friends, and loved ones. And driving profile, I like driving profile. It's really cool because you can go into the settings and you can set it so that it automatically notices either A, while you're driving, it'll use GPS to actually identify, oh, this person's driving, so let me go ahead and turn on driving focus mode or activate driving focus mode. The other is when you're connected to your car's Bluetooth stereo, it'll recognize that. And last, manually, you can activate the driving focus mode manually. And then if you have Apple CarPlay, you see you have an option here to activate it when it's connected to Apple CarPlay. So that is just kind of a couple features of how one of these focus modes work. But like I said, you can go through and customize them all, go through all the menus, set schedules. It really is a pretty powerful tool for keeping unwanted distractions out when you're specifically trying to focus on something in a particular environment or setting. Another feature that I think is going to be very beneficial for people, since we spend so much time sharing content around the web, is the new Shared With You feature. If you're in Messages, iMessage for example, and somebody shares something with you there, it will take you to a specific section in the app that they've shared from. So let's say they've shared a link with you in Apple Music. It's going to take you to a specific section in Apple Music dedicated to the content that people have shared with you. And you'll be able to check it out, react, and respond directly from that section of the app without having to go back into messages. And that's going to work for things like Apple Music, Apple TV, podcast, photos, different areas where people are going to be sharing content, Apple News. So that's interesting to see, and I think that's going to be functionality that Apple users, iPhone users are definitely going to enjoy. Now, this next one is going to be something that I know I'm going to get Android users in the comments section telling me that, well, they've had this feature for a while. Be that as it may, the next feature I want to talk about is going to be visual lookup and live text. In visual lookup, when you go into it and you swipe up, you are now going to get a bunch of information about that photo. Thank God, I have been waiting to be able to see some more of this EXIF data, your photo data, easier to see in the Photos app. But here it is. You're going to be able to see more data about the phone, including a map view. And so you're just going to have more robust access to information. And here's one of the cool things. Again, this is visual lookup. We see I've got a dandelion in the photo here. So you see we have a little icon in the middle. So I'm going to tap on that icon, and it's going to serve up results based on what it visually thinks that is. Now, of course, this looked at it, and I was actually wrong when I called it a dandelion a few seconds ago. This was actually a sunflower, and some of you are probably yelling at me as you watched your screen. But here's our sunflower, and it pulls up, as you can see, information about sunflowers. With visual lookup, you'll be able to identify things in your environment, things that you see, products, if you're in a grocery store, toy store, wherever you may be. The other cool feature is live text. So when you're looking at a photo, you can actually take the text from the photo, and now you can copy that text. So, if you're dealing with some of those dank memes, you can now copy the text. Let's say you want to make the text in the meme part of your caption, you can copy that. But the other thing you can do with that live text will copy text it recognizes, even in those signs as you see here. So there you go, you can copy that text, and now you can go ahead and paste that into another document. And additionally, if the text in the picture is an address or a phone number, let's say it's a business card that you took a picture of, which is how I store my business cards in Evernote, then the live text will notice that, and it will automatically open up the phone app when you've highlighted the text. Or if it's an address, it will launch Apple Maps and go ahead and take you to that address. So that's pretty cool. Android users, this isn't your time. Shush. And let's get into the alarm functionality and show you that real quick, because that's something else that is a small thing, but it is something that just makes life a little bit easier. So we're going to the clock app here. Let's go ahead and set an alarm. Now you can actually tap on that and type in it now. So before you had to swipe and move the wheel, this revolving wheel of time, now you can actually just go ahead and type in it. So like I said, iOS 15 is about refinements and about efficiency, and this is just one of those items that shows what Apple has been working on under the hood. The other interesting thing here, if we go into Safari, is that when you're looking at websites, when you're going ahead and going to type into websites, you now have the address bar here at the bottom. So you now have this URL bar at the bottom of the screen so that you can interact with content a little more efficiently. And once you enter your information, you see it kind of clears the full screen. So again, it's down here at the bottom. You can get to all your other menu functions from there as well by clicking on the little menu icon, and you can get to your tabs and get to that from that location as well. I have quite a few tabs open. And you can, one of the other cool things is if you want to group the tabs, you can create a tab group. And then once you have that tab group, you can actually access your tabs by scrolling here, you see, with the URL bar. One of the other things that Apple is really big on in iOS 15 is going to be they're updating a lot of privacy settings. And we're going to go into that, I think, in detail once they actually launch the stable version to the public of iOS 15. Let's now take a look at iPadOS. One of the great things about iPadOS that I love is that you can now use larger widgets, as you see here. With these expanded widgets, you can now get more information on your home screen. You can make a home screen practically all widget. So that's really cool, a really cool upgrade on iPadOS 15. The other part to that, the other aspect of that, is if you tap on the three dots here below, you can actually rearrange your home screens. That's something we've been wanting on iPadOS and iOS for some time. So you tap the three dots, now you see all your home screens. You can remove home screens, you can reorganize home screens. This is just wonderful. And let's show you those notification summaries I talked about earlier. So when you go into the menu, you can now choose which apps send you notifications at which times of the day so that you can just get a summary of those notifications instead of a regular notification every time it pops up. There are some apps that I don't need to see that information. It isn't urgent, but it is something I want to see at some point. So with those apps, I can just put those into the summary section and get that information when I want it instead of the app serving it to me when it does. And a big deal for me, I don't know if it is for you, but landscape mode showing apps that were only available to use in portrait mode on the tablet has been an annoyance of mine for some time. So now Instagram, you see here Coinbase, a few other apps that were portrait mode only will now show up in landscape mode. Now, like I said, this is a beta build, so not all portrait mode apps show up in landscape mode like this. And one of the other issues is that when you open a portrait mode app in landscape mode, you cannot do multi-window. So you can't have those side-by-side windows. You can do a window over the portrait mode app in landscape mode, but you cannot do a side-by-side window. So take that as you will, but that's been something I've been waiting for on iOS, iPadOS for some time. So really glad, really happy to see that functionality come to the iPadOS, iOS ecosystem. And last but not least, this is a big deal, SharePlay. With the pandemic, people have been using Zooms and all kinds of other software, all kinds of other services to connect with loved ones over distances, sometimes to watch content together, to talk. SharePlay allows you from FaceTime to now actually watch videos, listen to music, do all these things together on a video call. So this is going to be a really cool way to share time or share the playing of your content with family, friends, loved ones over distance. Very cool. Really like that they've done this. And the other feature in FaceTime that is going to be really cool that some future things are going to be enabled by, and that's spatial audio. So now when you're doing a FaceTime, a group FaceTime specifically, you'll be able to hear where different people are in the group. So if somebody's on the left side of that group chat frame, it'll sound like they're coming from the left side. You'll hear them on that left side in your earbuds or headphones. And if somebody's on the right side, again, you'll hear that coming from your spatial ready, your spatial equipped Bluetooth earbuds or headphones. In this case, we're talking about things like the AirPods Pro or the AirPods Max, those types of devices. So that is going to be a function that I think a lot of people are really going to like. That's been iPadOS 15 and iOS 15. What's coming, what I think you're going to like. Let me know in the comments if you're an iPhone, iPad user, what you're excited about seeing in iPad or iOS 15. If there's any questions you have about either of those OSs and their updates, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. I'll get to them. I'm Tshaka Armstrong for reviews.org. We don't take it lightly that you spent your time watching here with us. We'll catch you on the next video.